All right, Stripes and Coffee here. It's already Thursday. It's already time for the Thursday night game. Son of a bitch. And I haven't even gotten a post-Steelers video up because that game was super duper freaking exciting. I was maybe just a little too hype right afterwards to get this done. And, the work week goes by. But I definitely wanted to get some thoughts on that game because it was just a dope game to watch. So I'm really just going to point out some things I liked and maybe a couple things that I didn't like or I'd like to see better. There's always things you can improve, whatever. But let's start with the positives of that game. So first of all, it's the Steelers. We beat them in HEINZ Field. And if you've been a Bengals fan for any length of time, you cannot understate how important that is, how big it is, and how awesome it is to see that happen. Boswell missed a field goal, and he never misses against us as far as I've seen. I think I said a stat that he's never missed against us in HEINZ Field. So he goes, and I wouldn't exactly call it chip shot, but it was definitely an easy makeable win, and he missed it. Just missed it, so it just feels like it was meant to be. Our offensive line did not allow a single sack, or as far as I know, even a pressure, or at least on the stat sheet. If there wasn't any pressure coming, Joe Burrow started looking like his old self and moving around and moving and grooving and doing his thing in the pocket there. But the offensive line, and I know they were down T.J. Watt, and I think there was another one of their big starters that didn't make it, but they still got a good defense. And, I'm surprised we didn't get at least a couple sacks. But you keep Joe clean, he's going to cook. He's going to make some things happen there. And I think we snapped their streak of 75 straight games with at least one sack. And if you was to tell me with our offensive line that was not supposed to be very good this year was going to go into HEINZ Field, especially week 3 before maybe they fully started to gel and get into the swing of things and hold them to 0 sacks, I would have called you crazy, but they did their job there. We ran the ball well. I think Mixon had 90 yards, so that's awesome. Joe did not have to do everything. He threw like 19, he was 17 for 19 or something like that, and only threw for, I don't even think it was over 200 yards. So super efficient. And that was due to a lot of field position, and takeaways, which I'll talk about in a second. But we were just put in great field position, and we capitalized on that, and that was just awesome to see. We were in the red zone. Joe Burrow, I think they showed a stat where he's got like one of the highest passer ratings, in the red zone. He's just getting done down there. The other thing I liked, the Jamar Chase connection. Boy, I like how many balls he's dropping. What ball drops? I mean, child please, as freaking Ocho Cinco would have said. He's not dropping any balls. I mean, yes, drops are going to happen. That's any wide receiver, but he was always noted for his hands. So I was never concerned about all that. And I think I said Jerry Rice had drops in the preseason, and look what happened with him. So, I mean, to get all panicky because he had a bunch of drops in the preseason, that was unfounded and should be forgotten and not even brought up again at this point. Just so many stats with that. I think, with 4 touchdowns in the first 3 games as a rookie, that is some sort of record. He had a touchdown of 30-plus in his first 3 games. That was some sort of record. So, kid's blowing it up, and he's only trending up, man. He's still like 20 years old. So, that's awesome there. What else was awesome is our freaking defense. Maybe the Steelers just aren't any good. And maybe none of the 3 teams we played originally are any good. I think the Vikings do have a good offense. The Bears don't, and it's looking like the Steelers don't. But we were sacking the hell out of Big Ben, and it was like 5 sacks. We couldn't get nothing going. We were stuffing the run. That's what's I think would have been a key to their game is to get Najee Harris going. And they did, but they had to throw to him like behind the line of scrimmage like 100 million times, and rack up all those almost garbage yards in a way. Kind of like an extended running game, I guess, by throwing it to him in the flat, but it wasn't particularly effective, and he wasn't really able to run it at us. We kind of kept that in check. The turnovers, Logan Wilson is looking like a stud, man. He just reading the quarterback's eyes and just kind of has a nose for where the ball's going to go. He's just always around it, and he said in his press conference, you stay around the ball, good things are going to happen. Well, hell, good things are happening, man. That kid seems to be awesome so far. I hope it holds up. We're going to play some better offenses out there, so I hope that doesn't collapse or whatever. But Our defensive front, awesome. The linebackers for a change are looking really good. There's a lot to love here. And that, I think that's pretty much what I loved about this game. Now, some of the negatives. It seemed like we got off to a little bit of a slow start. There was a pick thrown, which really wasn't a bad read, just a little off on the throw, and it got tipped. Kind of unlucky there. Just a tip ball goes straight up, then, that's a lot of times going to be an interception. If it would have got it just tipped to the ground or something like that, but it got tipped straight up, that type of shit happens, But it could have been a little better throw to where, that the receiver could have made a better play on the ball or whatever. But right after, that's when we got that interception, and we watched that all the way there. But it did seem like we got off to a slow start, kind of conservative game plan. And I know they were probably worried about their defense, so they want a balance of run and pass, and leaning towards the run a lot, and I know they're probably kind of maybe keeping the training wheels on Burrow to, to limit his chances of getting hit. Maybe they're just waiting till our line gels, waiting till he feels more comfortable and they're more confident in his leg and everything. Which I didn't mention that part about Joe Burrow, his movement in the pocket. It seems like he might be back there. I was just moving and grooving. He was, we had that quarterback draw where he ran for 8 yards and got a first down and, lunged in there and got it. Was sliding around in the pocket. That all looked great. So too many good things, so it's hard to talk about all this bad shit. But, we're talking about the balance there. So, I'd like to see him open it up a little bit more. And our defense went anemic again kind of later in the game. So, another good thing is we were ending the first half with points and beginning the next half with points. And I know they were putting an emphasis on that. Like win those, I guess, I don't know what they call that, the last and first 8 or something like that. So last 4 in the first half and the first 4 in the second half, and you can kind of almost double up on your points there. And we ended up getting 10 points in that, in that 1 minute drive at the end of the first half. Marvin Lewis would have just kind of like took a knee and went and we'll get the ball and on the half and we'll work with that. We're like, nah, let's be aggressive, minute downfield, Jamar Chase bomb, 7 points. So, but once about the middle of the third quarter, it seemed like, and in this case, I agree with it more maybe in the last 2 games where the offense of the Steelers just sucked, man. And they were only able to dink and dunk and do 8-minute drives just to get down to the field in the red zone. So it was going to take them forever to score, unless they just did that one big thing that Ben would hurt us in the past, is just one big play, big chunk down the field, and then there they go, they're right back in it. So it did start to feel like that if you've been a Bengals fan for a while. But, the Steelers were never really in it, but it just felt like they were going to pull one of them things. We're like, hell, we're going to overtime, and then we lose this damn game, son of a bitch. But I would like us to not been so anemic, the last quarter and a half, where we were maybe at least gotten a few downs, and maybe if we would have just gotten in field goal range and got a 45-yard field goal chance and put 3 more on the board, you could have almost just, put it away. Then if you did even better, grind it up more time and punch one in the end zone, it would have been lights out. There would have never been a chance. But it just kind of kept like they were hanging around with the possibility of coming back, but it just never materialized, never happened. Our defense, stood in there, even though our offense, was keeping them out there a whole lot. And we finished that game strong defensively. And like I said, I think this game they were just trying to grind out some clock on the ground and, not do anything too stupid or whatever. Maybe a good game plan with this. They still got a good defense even though they were down some players. So this is just an awesome win. So I hope that we ride this and don't let it maybe turn this next game into a trap game, which could be, coming off a win like this, the confidence, you want it to be high, but maybe you don't want it to be high in the wrong way. You want it to kind of keep that attitude of, yeah, we can beat anybody, we can hang with anybody, but not to be so full of themselves that we go into this next game, which this one isn't easily winnable on paper, but then to get beat by that and have another head scratcher like we did in Chicago, be like, what the hell just happened there? So, awesome win. Won first round of the Steelers, this year. So hopefully maybe we'll take it to them again later on. I know we made a couple comments. Tyler Boyd said that they quit, and it looked like it to me. I mean, when you do like a 4th and 10 check down, you know, when the game's on the line and you're kicking field goals that you even miss, you know, when the game's on the line, you know, they needed to be aggressive the way they were moving the ball. You know, it felt like receivers really didn't have their heart in it when they dropped a lot of balls, and, you know, but, you know, there could have just been poor execution, whatever. Maybe he should have said it, but maybe he shouldn't have said it. I don't know, but he didn't say it in some way that made it seem like overly cocky. You know, I remember Usmanzada, like, wiping his shoes off with the Steelers towel. And although that's awesome, you know, maybe that might have been playing, you know, less focus on the game and more focus on those type of shenanigans. And I don't think, you know, he just made a comment there. So, but I know they're riding high off this emotional win, so I don't want it to be a trap game. I don't think it will, but I've rattled my fat bearded ass long enough. And Stripes of Coffee, hooday. And I'll see you in the next one. I'm going to do a pregame for Thursday Night Football. Peace.